Hello everyone, this is Alloutdoor1 here. Welcome to another video. Now, I'm not really a watch person, not really into watches in a big way. They're just a tool with which I tell the time, and I don't take it any further than that particularly. Up till now, as my outdoorsy kind of watch, I've been using a basic Timex. I picked it up from Argos, which for those of you not in the UK is like you know, a superstore, and yeah, I think I paid about £10 for it, and it was okay. It was waterproof, it had a backlight so you could see it in the dark, and luminescent digits. You know, for £10 you can't really complain. However, one complaint I did have about it was that the ticking, because it was analog, was extremely noisy, and you know, whilst wild camping, I'd often have to kind of stuff it inside my rucksack, inside a sock, so I couldn't hear the ticking, you know, to allow me to get to sleep. Similarly with being indoors, and if you know, I couldn't get to sleep with it on my wrist essentially. But anyway, it was my birthday recently, and a very kind individual bought me this G-Shock Mudman, which is the focus of today's review. If you're looking for a nice slimline discreet watch, then this probably is not for you. It's extremely thick, you know, I think it's like a couple of centimeters thick there, so it does kind of poke out on the wrist a little bit, but not to the point that it becomes obtrusive particularly. Now, the G-Shock range are known for being extra super hard wearing, and this supposedly lives up to those claims. I've seen a video recently on YouTube which is the G-Shock hammer test, where they repeatedly hit one of these with a hammer, and it still works after thousands of strikes, etc. So we'll see if it lives up to their rugged claims. But let's just go through some of the features of this watch. This is the G-Shock Mudman mud resistant watch. It's waterproof to 200 meters, although it's not designed for scuba diving, more like snorkeling and surface swimming, that kind of stuff. Now, the mode it's in now is the normal time mode, and as you can see, you have the day displayed at the top, Thursday the 20th of the 12th in the American date format, which is back to front for us Brits obviously, and then you can choose 24-hour or 12-hour display. This circle up here, you have the seconds countdown timer, 60 seconds per minute, and over here I'll just try and get a little zoom in there. So this smaller circle here is basically the moon chart, so it shows you at what stage the moon is at, so you know whenever there's a full moon, etc., which is actually a feature that I think is quite handy, and I do have use for it. So to change modes, you simply press the mode button on the side here, and it scrolls through the modes. So as I said, that's the normal time mode. Oh, by the way, there is also just here above the 4, there's a battery level indicator, which has high, medium and low. In high and medium all the functions will work, in low only timekeeping will work. Another great feature of this watch is that around the circumference here we have a solar panel which charges the watch in fluorescent or daylight, and you know, it just means that you don't have to replace the batteries as frequently, or as far as I understand it, you will never need to replace the battery unless the current battery develops a fault or anything along those lines. So those are all the main features on the normal, those are all the features on the normal time setting. So as I said, we'll just go through to the next one now. This is the moon mode, which allows you to calculate the size of the moon on any particular day by pressing this search button on the right here. You see the date progresses, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and then for each day it recalculates the size of the moon on that particular day. So that's quite a nice little nerdy gadget feature, but still I quite like it. And yeah, that does have some relevance for me, as I said. So the next mode we go into is the world time mode. Currently it's set to Berlin, as you can see up here, although it has many other cities for you to choose from. Obviously it gives you the time in that country. Here we have a stopwatch function, obviously a standard stopwatch function with split lap timing also. Not something that I have use for, but other people may do. Next up we have the TMR, or countdown timer, which you can set it to however long you want, and then it starts counting down, giving you alarm when it reaches 0. Next up we have the alarm. Now we actually have 2 alarms on this watch, again giving you a beep when it's activated, and there is also a snooze function if that's any use for you. Press the mode button again and we've gone back into world time. Now the thing that makes this particularly of relevance to me as an outdoorsy person is the twin sensor function on this. To access that, you simply press the COMP or compass button, and I think that gives it away. But once you press it, as you can see here, we have the compass, which shows you which way you're facing, with an indication of southwest at the top here, or west southwest, or whichever way you're facing, until obviously you get to north, northwest, etc., etc. Alongside the compass, at the same time, we have the air temperature displayed here. As you can see, it's reading 28.9 degrees C. Now one thing I will say about that is it's not accurate if it's sitting on your wrist, as far as I can tell. Even in the instructions it advises you to leave the watch off your wrist for 20 to 30 minutes to allow all the residual heat to leave, and that will give you an accurate air temperature reading. Once you do that, it will actually give you a pretty accurate temperature reading. I mean, I've cross-referenced it with 2 other thermometers that I happen to have, and it's very, very close. So I'd say relatively accurate as far as reading temperature is concerned. If it's not, then the temperature gauge or thermometer, however you want to refer to it as, can be reconfigured to the correct temperature. Obviously you need a thermometer to do that. Equally, the compass can be recalibrated also. The compass is not super accurate. It's plus or minus 11 degrees on any particular reading. As you can see, at the moment, if we follow the straight line from here, it's facing southwest and gives you 213 degrees as your bearing. It can be used for map reading, although I wouldn't personally rely on it too much for that. I'd say it's more of a good cardinal direction finder, and we'll definitely use it in that capacity. Obviously, if you have a proper compass alongside with you, just to double check, that can always be reassuring. Another feature of the Mudman is that it does in fact have a backlight, as you can see there, and you can choose a setting to allow you to keep it on for 1 to 3 seconds depending on what you like. There is also another function whereby, if I just refocus this, if you see in this box where it says Thursday at the moment, if we press and hold the light button for 3 seconds, a little LT symbol has appeared above the H and the U, and what this means now is that the light becomes motion activated. So when it's sitting on your wrist and you pull it up to face height, or to a horizontal level, it activates the light. This only works in the dark, as obviously the solar panels allow it to gauge how much light there is in the air, or should I say how much light there is present at the time, and as I said, will only activate the light in the dark. Personally, I have no need for that to be on generally, so leave it off. Although the Mudman is very big, it's actually relatively light, and as I said, it's not actually that obtrusive on the wrist once you get used to it. It's a good kind of rugged looking design. As I said, highly shock and water resistant. The strap contains some kind of antibacterial magic potions to prevent bacteria buildup on your skin underneath the strap or on the strap itself. It does have a stainless steel back here, which is screwed in, as you can see. And generally the impression I'm getting from this watch is that it will last a hell of a long time and take a pretty severe bashing, although I'm not going to test it out in those respects. Obviously this will be my main and only outdoors watch from now on, and it looks like it should last a very, very long time. Probably the last outdoors watch I'll ever buy. Ha ha ha, famous last words. So that's the G-Shock Mudman. The actual model number is, let's see now, G9300. So that's the model number. And yeah, so far I'd say it's definitely recommended, highly recommended by me. Anyways, I have heard plenty of good reports on this watch, and I'm sure it will live up to all its claims. So I hope you found this review useful. This is the Casio G-Shock Mudman. Good little outdoors watch. This is Alloutdoor1 signing out for now. Thanks for watching. Take care.